Supreme Court. Okay, so Masterpiece Cake Shop versus the Colorado Commission, a Civil Rights Commission, is now in the Supreme Court. Are you feeling nervous yet? I really am. So we really need to have a important quick discussion about the difference between rights and privileges. You're listening to the Alex Spicer Show. Okay, so here are the facts about the case that a lot of people are just overlooking. We're generalizing what's happening, and here's really what's going on. You have this baker who is perfectly willing to make a wedding cake for this gay couple. He's made cakes for all sorts of people. That's not his contention. The problem was that they wanted him to make a cake where he would decorate it in the rainbow flag colors, which for him that was too far because that would be promoting a message that he finds to be wrong, to be against his religious conscience, his moral conscience. So he decided that he would not decorate that cake. He said he could not do so. He turned them down. Now, we have to really consider what's going on here. Do you have a right to someone else's services? This is where we are really struggling in America. This is why we have so many socialistic ideas that are becoming more popular, even though there are horrible ideas, and historically, they have been proven to be completely wrong. We should never, ever do it. Well, we see this with healthcare. We see, they say that people have the right to have health, to healthcare. No, you don't have a right to healthcare because that is a right to a service. And anytime you make it a right to have a service, you are then borderlining on slavery. And if we know anything about slavery is wrong, right? We had a whole war to end slavery. So we don't really want to go back down that route. But at the same time, that's really where we're starting to head. Now, we are misunderstanding what is a right, what is a privilege. It is a privilege to be able to have health care, right? It is a privilege, going back to this court case between the Christian baker and this gay couple, it is a privilege to have your cake decorated the way that you want it. It's a privilege to be able to go to a custom designer for cakes and have it made for you. That's a privilege. And you can't start making that a right, because a person has the right to use their services for whomever they desire. I have worked with people before where in a business where we would take on clients and try to do work for them. And to be honest, there are times when you say, no, I'm not going to work with this client. For any reason whatsoever, we could decide that we aren't going to do work for this client for whatever reasons we decide. And for that client to then take us to court and say, no, you have to give me these services, would be completely ridiculous. That's exactly what this is. There's really no difference. A lot of people say, it has a lot to do with, religious freedom, religious conscience. I would say I heard some of what Ben Shapiro had to say about it, and I'm starting to side a little bit more with him there, because he said this has more to do with freedom of expression and association, and I would agree. Because if you look at what is actually religious freedom, well, we have actually allowed religious freedom to just kind of escape from us very quietly, without much conflict, without really putting up a fight for it. And now we are misconstruing what is religious freedom and what is really freedom of expression and association, freedom of being able to do what you desire with your resources. Freedom of religion has more to do with the fact that we lost our ability in many places to be able to openly express what you believe, what is your religious, your moral conscience. That you can't even pray in schools, you can't pray in the public square, you can't say the word God. All these things where they're saying, okay, to mention these things is to oppress other people, to force your religion upon other people. And we have allowed those laws, we have allowed those things to happen. So if we're going to really look at religious freedom, we're really behind. We're super behind. I mean, it's been whisked away in so many ways, and we aren't even paying attention to it. And now, just because someone has a religious a potential religious reasoning behind why they do not want to do services, we think has to do with religious freedom. And you can construe it to be in there in such a way, because to be honest, religious freedom is the basis for all religions. Or sorry, not all religions, to all rights. It is the basis for all rights that we have, because freedom of religion is nothing more than the freedom of conscience. So if you want to live your conscience, that means you live according to what you believe to be right and true. And that is everything that we do. We do everything because we believe it to be the right way to do it. We do what we desire. We live our own life. We are not in bondage. We're not in slavery. We have a lot of opportunities and options given to us. And that is afforded to us because we have a constitution that respects those rights. The freedom to conscience. Once you have that freedom, then you can have all other freedoms. You have the right to protest, because according to your conscience, you should go out and protest, right? You have the right to use your services in such a way, to lead your business in such a way, because you are leading your own business. It's your own desire. It's what you choose to do. But the second we start saying, no, you can't make these decisions for yourselves, you take away what is called agency, someone's ability to act for themselves. Well, then we start to have a lot of problems, a lot of conflicts arise with all the other rights that we have. So what is a right? What is a privilege? I've brought this up before, and a lot of people, especially on the left, a lot of progressives see that religious freedom is actually a privilege given to only those who are religious, because those of us who aren't religious, we don't get that privilege to be able to do what we want because of our religion. Actually, no. Everyone has religion. Religion is nothing more than your system of beliefs, what you have inside yourself, your set of beliefs that you live your life by. Everyone has that. Just because some attribute these beliefs to God, to a higher power, and some do not, there is no difference. We all have our own version of religion in some way, shape, or form. And that is the basis for everything. And that is a right that we all share. It doesn't matter whether you consider it religion or not. It's all about your conscience, all about what you choose to believe and live by. We all have that. So it's not a privilege. That is actually a right afforded to all human beings. Now, this was brought up in an article I read, and I thought it was very interesting. It makes a really good point, how no one would ever question a Jewish baker's right to say, no, I'm not going to make a bake for a Nazi, for Nazis. Someone says, oh, I want you to make this cake, Nazi symbol on it and everything, to celebrate, the Holocaust or whatever. He would totally have the right to say no. And then same with, the article also mentions a black man would have the right to say no to making a cake to celebrate the Ku Klux Klan, that the KKK, for them to have a cake to celebrate the things that they do. He would have the right to say no. So what is up with these special privileges where we cater to everything that these special new minority groups cry about? What people are considering the new civil rights, right? The LGBTQ, it's not civil rights at all. There are some things, there are some cases where they did have laws that did discriminate against them, like housing laws. However, that is not what the majority of those movements cry for. They now cry for more privileges to be able to force other people to do what they desire, such as the case with this baker. So what are we really talking about here? Are we really talking about someone's rights, or giving someone the special privilege, giving them power and leverage over another person to force them to capitulate to what they believe to be right? Well, the second we start doing that, if the Supreme Court sides with the homosexual couple here, then they will have overturned a lot of precedent, but also moral law, moral reasoning, and we are on a really bad path. If that is what they choose, if that is the path they end up taking, we need to become dispassionate in what we're doing. Honestly, laws, the justice system, courts are meant to be dispassionate, where we take the emotion out of the equation and look at the facts and look at our Constitution, because that is the backdrop to everything that we do, and then make the correct, just decision based on that. I have a lot of doubts. I have a lot of concerns regarding this. I'm not sure what to expect anymore. This could be bad. This could be good. But even if the baker does win this case, it's not going to be the first one or the last one to go there. There's going to be a lot more that's going to come up. Eventually, I think we're just going to be badgered into this corner where we're just going to give, in a very legal way, more so than we already have, special privileges to these new groups. And now we then lose the equality that America stood for. Thank you for listening to the Alex Spicer Show. If you liked what you heard, click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, put those below. I'd love to read them and respond to you. Live free until next time.